and raise your hand. Kareem?
Hey, Mike. Let's, I guess, start with the defensive effort a little bit, much different than Saturday. Could you just kind of detail a little bit of what changed?
We played harder for longer periods of time. Our ball pressure was better. I thought Tina did a terrific job on McCowan, and she got good help when McCowan kind of got herself in the middle of the lane. We tried to send some traffic into the lane, but without, we didn't go all out double teams. We just made it harder for her. I think our pressure out on the perimeter made it a little bit tougher for them to get the ball to her too. So I think that was the start of it. We played without fouling much, even though there were some fouls called at us that I was, a little bit concerned about. But we didn't end up in the bonus very often for them. They only got 10 free throws. In general, the officials just let the game play. I mean, there weren't very many fouls called in general. Having Maisha have a couple days of practice helped us, or a day of practice helped us. We had good size in the lineup at the start. So I think that was the biggest thing about our defensive effort. And except for the first half, I think they only had one offensive rebound in the second half.
Are you as impressed by what Tina's doing as we are right now? I mean, this is 3 straight games of 30, and she seems to be doing a little bit of everything inside and out.
Yeah, I mean, she's in a pretty good comfort zone. She'll probably be mad at her 3-point shooting tonight since she's been shooting it well. But I think that, I think she did a really good job of recognizing what we needed. Sometimes it was a post up, sometimes it was a good screen for a guard. Sometimes it was facing up on the perimeter and, kind of reading how they're defending a lot better. So, and we tried to help her, put her in positions where she could see where the help was coming from the last couple of games. And I think she's done a good job of reading the defense.
Thank you.
Jen?
Well, thanks, Kareem, because I was just going to say how in response to Tina's. So I'm glad you articulated that better than I did. Coach, I'll turn to the ball movement on offense. You and Eric have both talked about that. Did you like that better tonight, or what did you see on that?
Way better. I mean, when we have 25 assists, obviously you have to make shots to have assists, but I thought that we played both sides of the floor better tonight. One of our goals was as many times as we could to try to, penetrate 1 or 2 dribbles to draw 2 defenders so we could get ourselves some better open looks from the 3-point line. And I think it worked. I mean, I think Ariel Atkins and Leilani and Sydney Weiss all got good looks at threes. And we had other good looks. I mean, Maisha and Tina had good looks. They didn't go, but they're wide open looks. And so, a big thing is to try to, make somebody overhelp against us so we get better looks. And so ball movement is a big part of that.
And then with Maisha scoring in double figures, actually having a double.
Yep.
How big was that for you guys? Just, you've talked the past couple of days about taking pressure off of other players.
Yeah, and first of all, she takes pressure off of Tina because she makes their post players play honest. And then, she can play with any of our other post players. I mean, she and Erica were good together for a stretch. She and Teresa can play together. We didn't play Teresa much tonight because they're just a huge lineup, but there will be other games where it'll be her turn because of her shooting. I think that, Mai's ball handling, I mean, we have plays in now that allows her to handle the basketball, in our transition. I mean, she had 3 assists tonight, and that's one more, dimension to our offense that she adds.
Thank you.
Doug?
Hey, Mike, I apologize if you were asked this already, but we talked about it last year in the bubble all the time. It is the 1-year anniversary of George Floyd's murder. I'm just curious, you guys talked about it as a team at all, or is something that you guys still discuss?
Not so much today. I mean, we've talked in general about some things that are, not only the anniversary, but it's been kind of put in front of us every day. I mean, our team is on the screen on almost every, thing that they talk about, athlete involvement from last summer. between the Jacob Blake and the George Floyd thing, I think that our players are very aware of it. We've had discussions lately, not specifically about that, but things that we can do more of in our community to, be involved in continue what we started last summer, but actually now be physically in DC to do some of these things. And we're going to talk more about that over the next week or two. But, it wasn't a specific conversation necessarily today. It's kind of been an ongoing thing.
Appreciate it, Mike.
Yep.
And last question to Tyler.
Hey, Coach, sorry to change the tone a little bit, but you were talking about the defensive effort for you guys, especially early on. When Ariel Atkins came back into the game to start the second quarter, how much do you think was the energy that she provided kind of infectious to the rest of the team? Otherwise, she came in and she was diving for every ball, making everything happen. She then had those 2 offensive fouls called against her. How much do you think? Sorry.
No, I'll jump ahead here. I think her energy level in general, her and Natasha, just on a daily basis, kind of jumpstart the defense out on top. And when they're out front, putting pressure on the ball and chasing shooters off screens, it makes everybody's job a little bit easier. It's harder to throw the ball to the post. It's harder to run a good pick and roll. They did a good job, and Ariel drawing the 2 charges basically because she pinned the ball on the sideline. She didn't let them get to the middle of the floor in pick and roll coverages. And, that's huge. They just, it sets a tone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
All right, Kareem.
Hey, Tina, congratulations.
Hey, thanks.
How much did the little bit of lineup tweak kind of help you out? Seems like there's a little bit more space. Obviously, Myisha can, do the things that she does. Just curious how that kind of felt today, how that you think that impacted that end of the floor.
I think it was more so our mindset. We had a great film session yesterday. Coach definitely added in some sets to keep the floor open and more spread, more middle pick and rolls to get Tosh going downhill. It's going to it took like a game for Myisha to get into her groove, but she definitely switched up. But it's definitely good to have Myisha in the lineup with her confidence, her energy, how aggressive she is, especially with Sid being able to space out the floor, but just how great of a shooter she is. So I think all in all, our mindset coming this game, knowing how important it was for us to get a win on this road, especially versus this team.
Now we know, you've had to, we know the load that you've kind of had to carry this year and, 3 straight 30-point games. I know it's part of the circumstances, but are you also kind of out there going at it? Do you have a little bit of, I don't know what to call it, but are you kind of going out there, kind of looking to be uber aggressive and looking to put your game out there?
Yeah, definitely. Every time I take the floor, I'm just trying to make a statement, that I'm here, to not write me off. I'm just trying to win games. I have a goal. I just want to win a championship. I have more years behind me than I do ahead of me. So I take every game personal. And I know my energy, how I come out, does wonders for the team. I wish I would have made shots the first game because they took McCowan out, and it was hard for me to guard McCowan just with her strength, but it made it easier because I was making shots, and they put Jantel on me, who's an experienced big, and we've been going at it since we were like 12, 13. So I'm just thankful we came out with the win.
Cool. Quick and easy. Thank you.
Jen.
Hey, Tina, just to follow up on Kareem, it's one thing to put up 30 when you've had, a couple days rest and all that, but how do you put up 30 in 3 straight games in 5 days? Like, are you like exhausted? Like, how are you doing?
I didn't even have any clue about the days. I'm just trying to be more efficient, trying to take better shots, just get my people involved, be very selective. The shots that I took in the first half, I was making majority of them. In the second half, I thought I went cold a little bit. So I was just trying to work the ball, and Ariel was stepping up and making shots, and that freed me back up. But just trying to be smarter as I get older and not have to force anything, not settle for anything, and just keep driving to the basket.
And then Coach T, just told us, he was complimenting your defense on Tierra, and he also mentioned the ball pressure on the perimeter. How much did you notice the difference in ball pressure on the perimeter, and how much does that help you when you're guarding someone like McCown on the inside?
Oh, it helps wonders. I mean, I'm a post player myself, as you all know. So when there's ball pressure on my guards and they're not able to get the ball into me, it's very tough. So that was the main thing we had to do, was be very intentional on the ball pressure. Me trying to make it as hard and push her out as possible. I noticed that when she's on the block, she's not really looking to make a move, but her bread and butter is when she's like literally on the arch and she's just able to turn. So as long as I had her on the block, I was fine.
Thank you.
Doug?
Hey, Tina,
Hey.
I know when you were in New York, we discussed a few times social justice, the Black Lives Matter movement, and obviously today is the anniversary of George Floyd's murder. Coach is saying you guys have talked about it over a couple of days and plan to talk about it more in the days to come. I'm just curious your thoughts on today, obviously being an important day and a sad day in many ways.
Yeah, we're still seeking justice for those who have not received any. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. It was definitely a sacrificial lamb. I wish it wasn't the circumstances, but it really woke everyone up. It really united a lot of people, and we're still seeking justice, as I'm saying. But for us personally, and especially Natasha Cloud and just how vocal she's been and just putting everything in perspective, she had something to say earlier today. So I think all of us in the league, we're still going to keep advocating. We're going to still just keep doing our part, keep setting the example. And as you guys saw it in the bubble, I wasn't there, but that film that Chiney Ogwumike was able to executive produce was phenomenal. So that's something that we're always going to keep on the front of our minds. Just it's still why we're playing and what we're doing.
Thanks, Tina. Appreciate it.
Tyler?
Hi, Tina. Sorry to switch the tone after Doug's question. But back to the game 4, you were the 6th player in WNBA history to have 3 30-point games in a row. And this is in a league that has had a ton of great scorers and a ton of elite scorers. For you, especially from where you came with New York and now moving into the Mystics, how does it feel for you to just be able to maintain this consistency and to be able to still perform at a level that you haven't done in your career and several other WNBA stars haven't done either?
For me personally, I'm just trying to come out and get wins. And like I said, be so very selective with my shots and just be a smarter player. Coach T drafted me, so, he knows what I'm capable of doing. He trusts me, and just him having trust and confidence in me, it breeds into the players around me, and that's them telling me to go. Shavonte Zealous has been phenomenal for me. She holds me accountable when I'm settling for shots, when I'm not attacking, and when I'm just not being aggressive. So just having people like me who wants me to be great, I just want to come out and just get wins for them. So I wish with these games I just had, I wish we won every single game, but we didn't. But I'm a hard critic of my game, and I watch film on myself and see where I can continue to get better and get my players involved.
And then another question on the defense. As a team, how do you feel like the team was able to come together tonight with the defensive effort?
It was just a mindset. Ariel Atkins was great. She was very vocal, just saying we can always get to another level. At some point, we have to decide who we're going to be, what we're going to reflect. What can we hold our hat on? And two games that we've won has been off of our defense. In New York, I personally took it personal. Everyone knows. Natasha Cloud took it personal, just guarding Sabrina Ionescu. So that's the same mindset that we have to have going into every game. Just that our defense is definitely gonna get us going with this group until, God willing, we're able to get Emma and Elena, and not having Alicia Clark here.
Thank you, Tina.
Zach?
Hi, Tina. Did you have a chip on your shoulder coming into this season after missing last year and people maybe not knowing how good you would be this year?
No. Again, I have nothing to prove. I have things I want to accomplish. I think everyone knows my game. I think, like I said, I see it in the players' faces across from me when they have to guard me, and that says enough for me. I know the respect is there, so I have nothing to prove. You guys, the media, are going to write about who you want to write about and highlight who you want to. I'm just going to keep doing me and keep playing my game. I like to think that the grind goes unnoticed, but the results don't. And I'm a person who reflects that. I'm always working on my game, and the results are going to show. So just trying to collect some wins. I have nothing to prove.
Thank you.
And Shibata.
Hello, Tina.
Tokyo.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks for being-
So my question is about your three-point shooting tonight. So I think you have taken 7 3-point shots tonight out of 23 entire shot attempts. So are you comfortable with that number? 7 out of 23 attempts, and you made two
Yeah.
shots, I think.
Just something I'm continuing to work on and still having confidence. You know, Coach T encourages me to take them. Again, that's something to be more selective with and when to take it. And obviously knowing if Sid is next to me, Ariel, anyone who's obviously way better experienced 3-point shooters to get them the ball. But you know, when the game is going a certain way, if I'm open, I could take a 3. I'm definitely gonna take it. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tina.
All right.
Kareem?
Hey, what's up, Ariel?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, congratulations. Tina was just saying, you know, 2 games that you guys have won have been really, you guys have really dug in on defense. Can you kind of, and said you were even talking about that, I guess, whether it was pregame or maybe in practice yesterday, but can you share some of that mentality of, you know, answering from a game you guys weren't happy with on Saturday and just what you guys did well on that side of the ball, on that side of the floor?
Yeah, I appreciate your question, but as we all kind of know, it's been a year since George Floyd has been passed away. So if you don't mind, I want to open up with something about that, just to let you guys know about the Policing Act that is in place right now. And we all have the opportunity to call our senators to get it passed. And if that's something that you guys are interested in, I'd really appreciate that. And if that's something that you guys want to write about, I would really appreciate if that's the biggest thing that you take away from whatever we talk about here today.
Did you want to talk any basketball today, or did you just want to talk about George Floyd? I can understand.
Yeah, I'd appreciate if we only talk about George Floyd and the things that we can do to really help our community, but really trying to get this Policing Act to get passed. Police reform is very important for Black and Brown communities, and I think that's something that we should really focus on, specifically today on the anniversary of his murder.
No, that's all good. And I guess my next question would be, can you share with some of this things, you know, there's so many different measures that, you know, you guys have kind of, you know, put your focus towards since last year. And I know that you guys have kind of moved on and gone to the next step of things. I guess just what's kind of in the forefront for you guys now, besides the act that you guys are kind of working towards?
Yeah, for me right now, it's educating myself on the things that I can help inform my community about. And there's some things that we're trying to work with for the Mystics that haven't been put into play yet. And that's something on me that I need to be more adamant and aggressive about pushing forward. So I don't have anything very specific, but I know that our league, specifically our Players Association, is very adamant about making sure that we're getting connected with organizations that are in our home communities of the teams.
Cool. That's perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Doug?
Hey, Ariel, I'm curious. I mean, you were so eloquent, so vocal last year in the bubble when you guys didn't play that night. I'm curious if you think, are we any better off right now than we were at that point as a country, and trying to give more attention and social justice reform and things of that nature?
I want to say yes and no. I say yes because it's visual. We see it. We're listening. You know, we're trying to have these conversations. But I say no because the hard things need to be done. We don't want a day. We don't want a week. We don't want a month. You know, like we want things to actually be changed on the ground. We need the foundation to be cracked a little bit because this country, you know, honestly was built on power that's not taking care of everybody. It wasn't built with everybody in mind. So we need to break it down from the ground up and find a way to rebuild. And if we really want to talk about unity and freedom, it needs to be for all.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Tyler, you have a question?
Yes, Ariel, were there any added emotions today, knowing it was the anniversary, knowing what you went through last year and had to do, I don't want to say had to deal with, but had to address and talk about throughout the entire season?
Yeah, for sure. But to be honest with you, this has been a stressful season for me overall, just because I'm trying to find my footing and how I help push social justice forward, finding my personal way. And I know I haven't been extremely vocal about it like I have in the past or even last year. But it's just been emotional overall. Like, how do I find ways to push our community forward? How do I use the resources that I have in DC or even the resources that I have back home in Dallas? Like, how do I find ways to help empower Black women in our Black communities and our Black and brown sisters and brothers? So yes, it's emotional tonight. And, you know, I just want to give all my love and my prayer and my everything, condolences to George Floyd's family. And one verdict does not change the fact that, again, the foundation is where we need to get change done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good, Kev?
You're good.
It's no secret, today marks a day that George Floyd was brutally murdered at the hands of police, in which they were finally convicted. I think in the last however many years, there's only been one conviction, and that was this one. So what I'm going to do is not talk about the game, because the focus still needs to be on social reform and social justice, especially for Black and brown communities, and discriminatory policing towards Black and brown communities. So what I'm going to do is tell y'all to write about people reaching out to the state senators. We need to ban chokeholds and other restrictive maneuvers. We need to end qualified immunity for all government actors. Don't back down, keep raising your voice, tell Congress we need better accountability policies to meaningful address rampant systemic racism in policing. Ban racial and religious profiling. Prohibit no-knock warrants. Breonna Taylor, say your name. Mandate a federal standard that use of force only be used when necessary. Demilitarize our police. Develop a national public database of police misconduct. Strengthen the federal government's ability to hold officers accountable for rights violations while on duty. I hope y'all stay safe. We're still in the middle of a pandemic, and I hope you focus on what today should be focused on, not this game. We're talking about Black and brown people's lives. So thank y'all, stay safe, go Mystics.
Wait, Tosh, they may have some questions for you about that.
I'm not answering any questions.
No questions. Okay. All right, guys. You heard it. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are off tomorrow.